Adrift and abandoned. The vast emptiness of space stretched out before Captain Maya Chen as she stared through the viewport of the Helios. Their modest research vessel hung motionless among the stars, its usual gentle hum of systems now replaced by alarming silence and occasional sparks from damaged consoles. "Status report," Maya called, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. The bridge of the scientific vessel was bathed in the red glow of emergency lighting, casting long shadows across the worried faces of her crew. "Life support at 37% and falling," replied Dr. Sanjay Patel, the ship's engineer. His hands moved rapidly over his console, trying to reroute power. "Whatever hit us knew exactly where to strike. Main engines are offline. Communications array completely destroyed." Maya nodded grimly. This was no accident. The attack had been swift and precise, the alien vessels appearing from nowhere, firing several targeted shots, then vanishing just as quickly. They hadn't even attempted communication first. "Any luck identifying our attackers?" Maya asked, turning to her science officer. Ilara Wong looked up from her scanner, her face pale in the dim light. "Vulcanar warship, Captain. I captured partial readings before our systems were damaged. Their energy signatures are unmistakable." A heavy silence fell across the bridge. Everyone knew about the Vulcanar, an aggressive species from the outer systems who viewed most other races as resources to be harvested or obstacles to be removed. Until now, they had kept to their territory, occasionally raiding border outposts but never venturing this far into human alliance space. "They left us alive," said Dr. Nikolai Volkov, the medical officer, quietly. "That's strange for Vulcanar. They don't usually take prisoners or leave survivors." Maya's jaw tightened. "They didn't leave us alive out of mercy. They damaged us just enough to ensure a slow death. Our distress beacon is destroyed. We're in an empty sector light years from any shipping lanes, and life support is failing. They've left us to die because they don't consider us worth the extra energy to finish off." The crew exchanged worried glances. Their scientific mission to study a nearby anomaly had brought them to this remote area far from help. No one was expecting to hear from them for another 2 weeks. "Options?" Maya asked, refusing to give in to despair. "We could try to repair the backup communications array," Sanjay suggested. "It would be weak but might reach a nearby patrol if there are any." "Good. Start on that," Maya ordered. "Ilara, help him. Nikolai, we need to conserve life support. Move everyone to the central section and seal off the outer compartments." As her crew hurried to their tasks, Maya moved to the small tactical display that still functioned. The Vulcanar attack made no sense. This sector held nothing of strategic value, just empty space and the quantum anomaly they had come to study. Why would the Vulcanar venture so far from their territory to attack a lone science vessel? Hours passed as they worked desperately to extend their survival time. The air grew noticeably thinner, and the temperature dropped as power reserves dwindled. Maya ordered the crew to take rest shifts to conserve oxygen while she remained at her post, searching for any solution that might save her people. "Captain," Sanjay called, his voice showing the strain of hours of non-stop work. "The backup array is partially functional, but there's not enough power to send a signal more than a few thousand kilometers. It's useless unless someone happens to be right on top of us." Maya's heart sank, but she kept her expression neutral. "Good work anyway. We'll keep trying." She didn't mention that the oxygen levels had fallen to 22%. At this rate, they would all be unconscious within 8 hours and dead soon after. The Vulcanar had been efficient in their cruelty. As night cycle came, most of the crew huddled together in the ship's mess hall, converted now to an emergency shelter to conserve the remaining heat and air. Maya made her rounds, speaking quietly with each crew member, offering what comfort she could. They were scientists, explorers, not soldiers trained to face death. Yet each one met her gaze with courage that made her chest tighten with pride. Back on the bridge, Maya allowed herself a moment of weakness, away from watching eyes. She slumped in her chair, exhaustion washing over her. The Helios had been her first command, a peaceful scientific vessel dedicated to expanding knowledge. Now it would become their tomb, and no one would even know what had happened to them. A sudden beep from the sensor console jolted her awake. Maya rubbed her eyes, wondering if she had imagined it. The sound came again, more insistent. She pushed herself up and moved to the console, hardly daring to hope. The screen showed a faint reading. Something was approaching their position at high speed. For a moment her heart leaped. Rescue. But caution quickly tempered her optimism. It could be the Volknar returning to finish what they started. Maya activated the ship-wide comm. All hands, possible contact approaching. Stay alert but quiet. The minutes stretched as the object drew closer. Their damaged sensors couldn't identify it properly, showing only a ship-sized mass moving with purpose toward their position. Maya's hand hovered over the alarm that would seal the remaining compartments, a last futile defense. Then the comm system crackled to life with a transmission. Helios, this is Captain Ezra Torres of the Earth military vessel Thunderbolt. We've detected your ship and are approaching to render assistance. Please respond if you are able. The sound of a human voice, an Earth voice, sent a wave of relief so powerful through Maya that she had to grip the console to stay upright. Thunderbolt, this is Captain Chen of the Helios, she responded, her voice cracking slightly. We've sustained heavy damage from a Volknar attack. Life support failing. We have 14 crew members still alive. Request immediate assistance. Hang tight, Captain, came the steady reply. We're coming alongside now. Prepare for emergency docking and evacuation. We'll have you out of there in 10 minutes. As Maya relayed the news to her crew, she saw hope return to their faces. They would survive. But as the initial relief faded, a harder question formed in her mind. What were the Volknar doing this far into Alliance space, and why had they attacked a harmless science vessel? Whatever the answers, Maya knew one thing for certain as she watched the sleek military ship appear outside their viewport. The Volknar had made a serious mistake in leaving them alive. Because humans, unlike Volknar, never abandoned their own. More importantly, as Maya activated the data cube hidden in her pocket, they would soon learn that humans were far more dangerous when underestimated. The quantum anomaly her team had been studying wasn't the only discovery they'd made out here in the darkness, and the Volknar would regret not making absolutely certain that no one survived to tell what they'd seen. The silent counter. Captain Ezra Torres stood tall on the bridge of the military vessel Thunderbolt, his weathered face illuminated by the glow of tactical displays. The ship hummed with quiet efficiency around him as they moved away from the damaged research vessel with its survivors safely aboard. Magnify, Ezra ordered, and the main screen showed the full extent of the damage to the Helios. Large sections of the hull were blackened and torn open to space. The engine section had been precisely targeted, and the communications array was completely destroyed. That's no random attack or meteorite damage, said Commander Layla Khan, his first officer, her voice low. Those are weapons impacts, precise ones. Ezra nodded grimly, and on a clearly marked research vessel. The ship's medical bay buzzed with activity as doctors treated the rescued scientists. Captain Maya Chen sat on the edge of a medical bed, watching as her crew received care. Despite their ordeal, they were alive, something the Volknar hadn't planned for. Your people are recovering well, said Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hansen, checking Maya's vital signs. Another day or two of rest, and most will be back on their feet. Maya nodded. Thank you, Doctor, but rest isn't a luxury we have right now. She pulled a small data cube from her pocket. I need to speak with Captain Torres immediately. In the captain's quarters, Maya sat across from Ezra, the data cube resting on the desk between them. Ezra poured 2 cups of coffee and slid one across to her. There's more to this than a random attack, isn't there? Ezra asked. Maya took a sip of coffee, her hand still trembling slightly. 3 days before the attack, We detected unusual energy readings from the quantum anomaly we were studying. What we found wasn't just scientific curiosity. She activated the data cube, and a holographic display appeared above the desk. We discovered a massive Vulcanar staging area hidden within the anomaly's gravity shadow. At least 50 warships and several transport vessels. Ezra felt his stomach drop. 50 ships. That's not a raiding party. That's an invasion force, Maya finished. We tried to leave quietly, but they must have detected us. They took out our communications first thing. Ezra studied the holographic display showing the fleet positions. Why didn't you report this immediately? We were about to when they hit us, Maya replied, her eyes meeting his. They think they left no witnesses, no one who could warn Earth. Ezra picked up the data cube, turning it over in his fingers. Earth Command needs to see this. It won't matter, Maya said quietly. You know how the political system works. By the time the Galactic Alliance approves military action, the Vulcanar will have already struck. They're counting on our bureaucracy to slow us down. The captain's communication panel beeped. Tor is here. Sir, came Commander Khan's voice, encrypted response from Earth Command. Eyes only. Ezra activated his private screen and read the message quickly, his expression growing darker. After switching off the screen, he looked at Maya. You're right. Command acknowledges the threat, but the Alliance Council is demanding proof of hostile intent before authorizing any military response. They estimate 3 weeks of debate before any action is approved. Maya slammed her fist on the desk. In 3 weeks, the Vulcanar could reach Earth's outer colonies. I know. Ezra's voice was quiet but firm. That's why Command has given me unofficial orders. We're to gather intelligence, track the Vulcanar fleet movements, and take necessary precautions to protect human interests. Meaning we're on our own, but not forbidden from acting. Ezra stood up and moved to the viewport, looking out at the stars. The Thunderbolt is a stealth-capable destroyer with advanced weapon systems. We can shadow the Vulcanar, learn their weaknesses, and if necessary, prepare for war, Maya finished. Ezra turned back to face her. I need your help. Your scientific knowledge combined with my crew's military experience. We might be able to find an advantage, something the Vulcanar won't expect. They already don't expect much from humans, Maya said with a grim smile. They think we're weak. That's why they left us to die slowly instead of finishing the job. Then that's their first mistake, Ezra replied. And we're going to make sure it's their biggest one. In the tactical room, holographic displays showed star charts and ship movements. Captain Torres stood at the center table with his senior officers and the scientists from the Helios. Now that you're all here, Ezra began, we need to combine our knowledge. Commander Khan stepped forward. We've analyzed your data, Captain Chen. The Vulcanar fleet is larger than initially thought, closer to 60 ships now. They're moving in formation toward these systems. She pointed to 3 star clusters near human space. Those are colony worlds, said Ilara, Maya's science officer. Mostly farming and mining operations. Minimal defenses. Exactly, Ezra replied. Perfect first targets. Earth Command has acknowledged the threat, but can't act officially without Alliance approval, which will take weeks. So we're on our own, Maya added. Ezra nodded. So we need to work together. Unofficial orders are to gather intelligence and take necessary action to protect human interests. Dr. Sanjay Patel, the engineer from the Helios, spoke up. What can a single ship do against 60 Vulcanar warships? More than you might think, said Lieutenant Commander Jackson, the Thunderbolt's tactical officer. This isn't just any ship. The Thunderbolt is a stealth destroyer with experimental systems. We can shadow the Vulcanar fleet undetected while we look for weaknesses. And that, Ezra said, turning to Maya's science team, is where you come in. We need your scientific expertise combined with our military capabilities. Dr. Nikolay Volkov, the medical officer from the research vessel, looked confused. We're scientists, not soldiers. What can we possibly offer against the Voknar? Knowledge, Maya replied. While we were studying that quantum anomaly, we collected data on Voknar ships too. Their energy signatures, shield frequencies, communication patterns. Ezra smiled for the first time. Exactly. The Voknar think they left no survivors, no one who could reveal what they know. That's their mistake. He pressed a button, and the hologram changed to show a detailed scan of a Voknar warship. While you were recovering, we've been analyzing your data. The Voknar have technological advantages. Their shields are stronger, their weapons more powerful, but they have weaknesses too. Ilara leaned forward, studying the scans with new interest. Their shield harmonics. There's a pattern here. We noticed that too, Commander Khan said. Their shields operate on a rotating frequency, highly effective against conventional weapons, but potentially vulnerable to precisely calibrated energy pulses. Ilara finished, excitement growing in her voice. Maya watched as her science team began to engage, their natural curiosity awakening as they studied the Voknar technology. This was what they did best, solving problems, finding patterns. There's something else you should know, Ezra said, his tone growing serious. We intercepted Voknar communications. Our translators are still working on it, but we figured out enough to understand why they attack your ship. He displayed another hologram, this one showing a biological scan of a human body next to a Voknar body. The Voknar don't just see us as enemies. They see us as physically inferior beings. According to their biology, humans are weak. Lower bone density, less muscle mass, shorter lifespans. They think we're not worth fighting properly. That's why they left us to die slowly, Maya said, understanding dawning. It wasn't just cruelty. It was contempt. Precisely, Ezra replied. The Voknar believe their invasion will be easy because they've underestimated what humans are capable of. They expect minimal resistance. Sanjay laughed suddenly, drawing surprised looks. Sorry, he said. It's just, throughout human history, that's always been a fatal mistake. Underestimating humans. A small smile touched Ezra's lips. Indeed, and we're going to use that mistake against them. He turned to his communications officer. Any response from Earth Command? Yes, sir. Official channels say we're to return to Earth immediately with the survivors. And unofficial channels. They've sent us updated star charts showing Voknar movement predictions and technical specifications for a weapons modification that might be useful. They're giving us room to operate, sir. Ezra nodded. Then we have work to do. Over the next 3 days, the combined crews worked tirelessly. The scientists from the Helios brought their analytical skills and knowledge of Voknar technology, while the military personnel of the Thunderbolt contributed tactical expertise and combat experience. In the engineering bay, Sanjay worked alongside the ship's engineers to modify the Thunderbolt's weapon systems. If we recalibrate the phase cannons to match the fluctuation pattern in their shields, he explained, we can create momentary windows where their defenses are completely vulnerable. Meanwhile, Ilara and the communications team decoded more of the intercepted Voknar transmissions. They're planning a coordinated attack on 3 colony worlds simultaneously, she reported. They want to establish forward bases before pushing toward Earth. Captain Torres studied the tactical display. Their first target will be New Eden Colony. 6,000 civilians, minimal defense systems. The Voknar fleet will reach striking distance in 18 hours. Maya looked at the colony's position on the star chart. We can't warn them in time without revealing our presence. No, Ezra agreed grimly. But we can be waiting for the Voknar when they arrive. The plan they developed was audacious. The Thunderbolt would position itself near New Eden, using the planet's magnetic field to mask its presence. When the Voknar vanguard arrived, expected to be 3 ships for such a small colony, the Thunderbolt would strike with its modified weapons, targeting their key systems before they could raise their shields. Hit and run, Ezra explained. We damaged them enough to force a retreat, but not enough to reveal the full extent of our capabilities. And after? Maya asked. We shadow them back to their main fleet. If we're lucky, we'll learn more about their overall strategy. If we're very lucky, we'll create enough doubt in their minds about human capabilities to slow their invasion. As the Thunderbolt moved into position, tension filled the bridge. Maya stood beside Ezra, officially designated as a civilian observer, but unofficially his strategic advisor. What if it doesn't work? She asked quietly. What if our modifications to the weapon systems aren't enough? Ezra's eyes remained fixed on the tactical display. Then we make sure New Eden gets a warning, evacuate as many civilians as we can, and go down fighting. The hours ticked by. Then the sensors lit up, 3 Voknar cruisers dropping out of FTL at the edge of the system. All stations, battle stations, Ezra ordered, his voice calm. Weapons systems online. Prepare to execute on my mark. They watched as the Voknar ships moved toward New Eden, their formation casual, confident, the approach of predators who expected no resistance. They haven't detected us, Commander Khan reported. Wait for them to reach Point Alpha, Ezra said. We need them fully committed to their approach vector. The bridge was silent except for the soft beeping of instruments. Maya felt her heart pounding as the Voknar ships glided closer to their target. Target range achieved, Lieutenant Commander Jackson announced. Ezra took a deep breath. Execute. The Thunderbolt burst from hiding, its modified phase cannons firing in precisely timed pulses. The first Voknar ship's shields flickered and failed as the energy burst hit exactly at their harmonic frequency. The second salvo targeted their engines, weapons, and communications in rapid succession. All 3 Voknar ships were hit before they could react. The lead vessel spun out of control, venting atmosphere. The second managed to return fire, but its weapons impacted harmlessly against the Thunderbolt's reinforced shields. The third tried to jump to FTL, but failed as its engines sputtered and died. Direct hits on all targets, Jackson reported. Enemy ships have sustained critical damage to key systems. Intercept their communications, Ezra ordered. The bridge speakers crackled with the harsh, clicking language of the Voknar. Their translator provided a rough approximation. Unknown enemy vessel, unexpected resistance, request immediate assistance. Humans have weapons that bypass our shields. Send our message, Ezra said. Maya had helped craft the brief transmission that now broadcast on all Voknar frequencies. This is humanity's first warning. Return to your territory or face extinction. Simple, direct. A message even the Voknar could understand. Sir, Khan reported, additional Voknar signatures detected at the edge of the system. 5 more ships incoming. Time to leave, Ezra said. Plot a stealth trajectory to follow them when they retreat. As the Thunderbolt slipped away into the darkness of space, Maya watched the colony world of New Eden growing smaller on the view screen. They had bought it time. Perhaps hours, perhaps days. But more importantly, they had shattered the Voknar's assumption of an easy conquest. What now? She asked. Ezra's face was set with determination. Now we find the rest of their fleet, and we make them regret ever thinking humans were weak. Maya smiled grimly. The Voknar had left humans to die slowly in space, thinking them too feeble to fight back properly. They would soon learn that nothing was more dangerous than a human when cornered, except perhaps a human preparing for war. And as the Thunderbolt vanished into the stars, Captain Maya Chen knew this was just the beginning. The Voknar thought they were launching an invasion. They didn't realize yet that they had stumbled into a trap of their own making.